Randy here with Smart Dog School. This is Bobo. We're about the end of his 2-week board and train here at Smart Dog School. He's worked with several trainers. The whole goal of getting Bo here was to, install a sense of calm. I remember one of the things that was said about, around Christmas Day, being able to relax with everybody going absolutely crazy around gifts and things, especially around food. We've introduced Bo to a number of different stimulus here to see how strong his ability to remain calm in any situation is. But this video is not necessarily about what we did to Bo, it's about what we do to all dogs here. And I'm going to walk you through a few steps that I believe you could probably do at home. So without hiring us here, you can practice a few of these, and if they work, great. If they don't, give us a call, we'll try and do our best to help you. Our goal is to help everybody, whether you're a student or not. So this is part of just a little bit of informational video we want to share with you guys, okay? When we first get a dog in, one of the first things we have to do is we have to get a dog to sit kindly at our side with a loose leash. Now, Bo's been here for 2 weeks. He's doing this no problem. For the most part, if other dogs are intrigued with the environment, whether it's smells or whatever it is, dogs running around, they're going to bounce around like a chicken with their head cut off wanting to play. This part takes, I would say, probably the longest amount of time, but we have to pick the right tool for the job. There's several tools in dog training. Just go to a PetSmart or wherever, and you'll be able to see that there's tons of options out there, from head halters to certain slip collars to prong collars and e-collars, you name it. The easiest way to teach is the one with the lowest amount of pressure that the dog responds to. The collar we're using today, and I'm not sure if you can see it on the video or not, but simple nylon slip collar, okay? So it's got a floating ring, and this floating ring allows me to put pressure on the dog when the dog goes forward too far, and I want him to yield. I simply let off the pressure, and he yields. Now the reason I use a nylon instead of the traditional slip collars, the traditional slip the chains, when this happens, sometimes this would get stuck and it wouldn't release the pressure. That right there is the communication I want to give the dog. Dogs don't operate off right and wrong. We've said this in the past, they operate off safe and dangerous. However, if I can give the dog pressure and he feels, okay, if I yield to pressure that goes away, then he understands that he's done something right when the pressure goes away and wrong otherwise. That's me humanizing the dog so I can explain it better, okay? So in order to teach this, I simply have to get him to start wandering away from me so that the pressure gets applied and the pressure gets released. It's my job to release the pressure, if not in an animated way, but just however I want to do that. I have to show him that the pressure release came from me so that he'll want to yield to me. So whoever's the handler is the person he's going to look at when he feels pressure anywhere he's at. So I'm just going to walk him around a little bit. Now granted, he's not going to take much, right? We've been working with him, so he's going to yield every time. But I'm going to encourage him a little bit. I very well may even throw something to see if he'll go get it. So right there, he's responding to my body movement, which is good. And if he comes over here anywhere, and pressure, release. It's really hard to show you when I don't have a dog going absolutely crazy, but this video is not necessarily about success or failure, but I wanted to explain what we do. So this is step one. There we go, and release. Perfect. You're going to do this for about anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, depending on the dog. Here's pressure and release. Good. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, give me a shout. I'll try and do my best to re-explain it, but I want to put this video out there, okay? Here's another one. If I want him to sit, I can ask for the behavior, but if you just put slight upwards pressure, downwards pressure, and let go, most dogs will respond to that, depending on how much practice they've had and really whether or not they've been collar conditioned in the past. A flat collar on here, he's just going to pull against it, and that's what happens the first day or two. So that's the first step, teaching the tool, no matter what the tool is. You're going to wonder what the second step is. It's moving forward, okay? So every time a dog sits in a position like this, that's the only time I'm going to take a step forward, okay? This is simple because, this is what most people want, walking a dog on a loose leash. We cannot get this dog to walk on a loose leash if I can't get him to sit beside me on one, okay? So once he's in this position, we refer to this as submissive posture, whether it's a sit or a down. We really don't care. And at this point, no vocal. So I'm not telling him necessarily, even if I do it out of habit. I don't have to tell him what to do. I let the pressure do the talking, okay? So I'll take a couple steps forward. If he stays with me, we'll continue to walk. This is what a standard walk should look like, whether it's structured or not, okay? So we're taking steps forward. And when I stop, I'm expecting that's it. If not, I pull up and I let go. If you can do that at your house, this brain up here is going to start to slow down a little bit because I'm enforcing rules and I'm setting up a little bit of structure, okay? This is one of the first couple steps to get the calm, relaxed canine that we're all after, okay? The on-off switch, the fancy stuff, the obedience, all of that's after this. This right here is the first few steps, okay? This may take a day, it may take 5 days, I don't know. But this is the behavior we're looking for out of our week program, the 1 week. The 2 week, which is under Bo, is the e-collar program, and we'll show you some e-collars on some future videos, okay? Step 3, once we're able to walk in a halfway decent manner and he's sitting at our side, we're going to introduce what's called a fixed space. So it's a bed, it's a place board. I don't know if you see that in the video, but it's a towel, whatever the case is. We like elevated ones, they tend to work better. So I'm going to introduce this as a location that I want him to simply step on. I'm not going to necessarily want him to stay for a long time at first, but I want him to be comfortable with it. And there's 3 stages of doing this. I'm simply going to show you one for the lack of time on the video. We're going to walk around and we're going to introduce him to a fixed space, okay? Okay, so don't expect your dogs to step onto the fixed space like that every time. You may be standing here with slight pressure for as much as 10-15 minutes. And if you've ever held a dog for 10-15 minutes without the dog doing anything, it's one of the worst situations ever. It's very testing on you as far as your patience. But if you can remember the quote, patience over pressure, it may help. So don't just jerk the dog onto there. Slight pressure, he gets on, pressure off. Okay? Once you get what you want, he's standing on the board for a couple seconds. I'm not building duration or distance right now. I'm simply building the fact that I want him to step onto there, and his association with it is, I don't know, it doesn't confuse him and he's not scared of it. That's the biggest part. Pressure on, pressure off. And we'll go the opposite way. Somebody's sniffing. Can I smell something? Good. If you notice, I'm taking multiple approaches. I want to come from every angle, okay? This is the behavior you want to eventually get out of your dog. You want that settled, you want that submissive posture, whether it's a sit or a down, it doesn't really matter. Notice I'm not telling him break, I'm not giving him release cues, I'm not giving him directional cues. I'm simply guiding him to the location I want him to be at, and as long as he's under, I don't care what he does. Okay, that's stage 3, introducing a fixed space. Stage 4 is introducing an unfixed space. So this is a sit or a down anywhere. Very helpful when you're out in public. You take your dog into, say, a pet store, and you want to pay for your items up front instead of tethering him to the little hooks they have. You ask him to go into a sit, but not verbally. You simply just get pressure up. He sits, you do your thing, you grab him, you take him away. I don't know how many people that would benefit from this, but I guarantee it's a lot. So this is one of the simplest things to teach is if you do it on a regular basis and you practice it for a week or so. I'll show you how to do that. So we'll ask him to come with us just by pressure. Pressure off. So we're going to ask for a sit just like we did at the beginning. Pressure's up and down. Pressure off. Not always perfect. I think I got his attention there. Okay, game's on, we're training again. So this is the position I want him in. Now I'm not going to test his distance by walking away. I'm not going to test his distance by leaving him in a position for a long duration. I simply want him to do this while I'm away maybe 2 feet, while I'm still within the leash. The next stage after you start teaching this, you do it over and over and over. So what we'll do, we'll take a couple steps. No release cue needed. Ask again for it. Release the pressure. Take a couple steps. Release the pressure. Take a couple steps. Don't even have to touch there. Didn't have to touch. Releasing the pressure is the most important part. Applying the pressure is easy. Remembering to release is the hard part, okay? That's stage 4. Stage 5 is what we're going to show you now. That's challenge. We take the dog into predictable challenge areas where we are going to get behaviors that we're already growing. So I don't recommend stage 5 in the first or second or even third lesson, but we're going to show you how to do it for just the convenience of this video. So I'm going to ask him to go to a fixed space. I'm going to ask for a seated position on the fixed space. I'm going to drop the leash, even though I'm going to grab it if I need to. And I'm going to ask a couple volunteers to kind of just walk around him. This is going to be a predictable challenge. So you guys mind doing some circles around him real quick? So what we're teaching him is this location is where I need him to stay. And this position is where he's going now. See, there's a little, and he got comfortable. I'm going to accept that. I don't care what he does on there as long as he stays relaxed. Be a little bit more crazy humans, guys. This is an example of a challenge, guys. This is a very low-level challenge. Now, see, I'm staying close by. Dogs with confidence issues, they're going to look for their handler to basically advocate for them, and that's what I'm doing for Bo here. Every dog's going to be different. Every dog's going to take their own amount of time, and you're going to have to advocate for each one of them based on how they're acting. Now, right now, he's not showing me any super fear signs. He's not showing me signs that he's going to react negatively. All he's showing me is that I'd like to get up and play with these two if you let me. So another way of challenging is to do it with a dog. I got one over here, Conan. Come here. Come over here. Not you. Come here. I want you guys to touch her.
Come on, come.
I'm just kind of intrigue her a little bit, play with her, whatever. So other canines, another distraction, another way to challenge. Now notice we didn't just walk outside to do this. This is what we're doing in here. This is challenge to make sure that he will remain in a position that I take him to in that location, okay? Okay, we're gonna have a video in just a second showing the most important part of this 5-step process, and that is the close of it, and that's our structured walk. Every day you need to do a structured activity. Any of these activities, whether you're asking for sits 15, 20 times, whether you're asking for the dog to follow you around, these are structured activities. You should do at least one a day for about 15 minutes. That's going to get you comfortable working with the leash, you comfortable applying, and most importantly, practicing relieving the pressure, okay? With any tool, pressure is the same thing. We put, we turn up loud music, pressure's on our brain to turn it down if we don't like it, that's pressure. We have pressure when we drive a car. We follow the rules. We do the speed limit because we're avoiding things. These are all ways of learning. So the dog's no different. It's just we relieve a little bit of this Charlie Brown teacher talk that we do a lot. So if you have any questions, call us up. We'll explain this to you again. It's my number's 859-638-9693. Or you go to our Facebook page, Smart Dog School. Just type that in. It should come right up. Or our website at www.smartdogschool.com. And we're happy to help, regardless of what trainer you choose. If it's us or anybody else, we'd rather you get the right information versus information that very well may start to damage your relationship with your dog, and that's not what we want. So we're building relationships here, guys, not necessarily obedience, come play, sit down, heel. All of those are directional cues that we give animals after they've been trained or at the end of their training. This type of training, what we're showing here, we're really working on building a relationship so you can control, I shouldn't say control, you can communicate with your dog better and handle your dog better in public, okay? Watch the next lesson. It's going to be about the structured walk. It's by far the most important. So, any questions? Give us a shout.